Today I'm here with my coaching client, Yvonn, and I'm super pumped because she has a great resource for you guys all about bookkeeping, which is such a struggle for a majority of us solo estheticians. So keep on listening. We're going to get into it.
Welcome to The Rebel Show, the podcast for estheticians who want to grow their business, master social media, and perfect their waxing technique. I'm Bree Mesquit, esthetician, business coach, and founder of Rebel Wax and first-to-market wax pads. I built a 6-figure clientele, a 7-figure brand, and have trained over 15,000 waxers through my in-person and online courses. Are you struggling to book clients or market yourself? You're in the right place. Each week, I bring real business strategies, waxing education, and no BS advice to help you grow. Let's get into it.
All right, guys, I'm super pumped on this. Thank you so much for traveling all the way from Martinez, California.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Okay, so we're going to get started with a little bit of her background. I want to know about your background, especially aesthetics world, bookkeeping, and then she has some amazing resources for you guys. I have been so excited for this to come out. You guys, this is needed. It's absolutely needed in the industry. But first, let's start with just sharing a little bit of your background when it comes to aesthetics first in your business.
So I've had my license 2011, and for about 2 years, I didn't use my license, just kept my regular job. And then I realized I should go into the industry. What did I go to school for?
Yeah.
So I started as a front desk and facial waxer.
Oh, cool.
At a hair removal salon in San Francisco.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very cool. How long were you there for?
I was there for 3 years.
3 years? Awesome. Do you feel like that was a good way to kind of get your foot in the door and get started with things?
It was. I really felt like at 16, it's what got me into the industry. I did front desk for a hair salon.
Okay.
And so I went and got my cosmetology license.
Okay.
So that was where I was like, I want to get my foot in the door. And that was an easy job because I had front desk experience.
Yeah.
And then the facial waxing was just going to be a bonus to have.
Did you ever do hair?
During the pandemic.
Okay.
Because California allowed hairdressers to go back first.
Really?
So I was
I remember that.
Yeah, I guess I need money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
How'd you like doing hair? And how long did you do that for?
I really only did it for friends and family.
Okay.
And it was on the side.
Yeah,
so still I'll cut hair from time to time for friends. But
I did not know this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I try to avoid hair at all costs.
Yeah. Sometimes
hair.
I'm like, wait, I kind of wish I did hair. I'm gonna do the fun colors and stuff, but no, this is where my zone of genius, waxing. We're sticking to waxing. So then, okay, so you did that. Then what was your next step after that job?
From there, I actually went out on my own. I had a salon space for 6 months.
Okay.
And it didn't end up working out. So I went back to work in the industry and did about 7 more years working for someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point, you guys. It's so many times we are afraid to take the leap because we're like, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? You're already, and I don't want to say this and it to be taken wrong, but you're already kind of in your worst case scenario, right? You can always go back to what you're currently doing. So that's a prime example of that. It's okay, it didn't work out, went back to what she's doing. She's fine. You didn't go hungry or homeless, right? You're fine. But did you die? That's my favorite line with my kids. I'm like, but did you die? Yeah. So she tried it. Would you say that was a failure, or do you feel like there was a lot of lessons learned in that?
I think at the moment I felt like it was a big failure. And then now I think I learned a lot of lessons out of it. When I went out on my own the second time, I was location is key. I am not going to jump off the boat until I know that this location is good.
Okay, I love that. So what lessons from the first failure did you take and bring with you to the second attempt going solo?
Location, also not having a backup plan, so to speak. I was in my early 20s and I decided to quit a job and not have any sort of income. So when you go out on your own, that's already scary. But when you have no income coming in, then it's what do you do? So that, I think 6 months of being that scared and having no money, I was like, this doesn't work. So second go round, I kept my job for a year. I went in evenings and I went in the mornings.
Awesome.
Before and after work. And then I would just do as much as I could to keep those clients, grow it. And then a year later, we actually had my son and I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm just going to do this and give it a all.
That's amazing. So you were able to transition instead of jump fully in. And like both can work, but I think that's the smartest way to do it. First of all, working elsewhere as an employee at 1st you get to learn so much, and then transitioning slowly. So I love that. That's very cool. That's very cool. Okay, so now the second time going solo, tell us a little bit about, well, when did you start that? Like what year was that? And then tell us a little bit about the journey till now.
So I started my new business, WaxxKat, solo in 2022. And so I have been renting a room in a tanning salon since then. And it's been really good. I think that I've learned a lot from that experience. And like you said, the work that I did in between, just more of the behind the scenes and how to handle like clients and how to advertise and just put my name out there a little bit more.
Yes. So what was the biggest like shocker to you when going solo of like, oh wait, I didn't realize I have to do all of this too. Like I'm a business owner now.
I think the biggest shock was just that handling everything. Like I was lucky enough that I'm in a space. So I'm not buying toilet paper and all those things.
I was thinking when I asked that question, I was like, it reminded me of when I went like got my own apartment. I'm like, I have to buy like a plunger and like they don't just come with a plunger. Like I have to buy toilet paper and paper towels. This sucks. Like,
no, I think like the same way that at least I've decided to go into a space that does handle some of that. But I did think like, okay, you have to buy all your own wax. You have to get your sticks. Where can I source gloves from? Like whose price points are the best or delivery. So that became really big for me.
Okay. So then we started coaching probably a little over 6 months ago. What made you decide like, okay, I want to bring in a coach or mentor?
When we first got started, I was at a point where I knew I needed to be a bit more disciplined on some things that I was laxed on. I do help with bookkeeping for clients and I wanted to transition out of that. I also wanted to increase my revenue and see different ways that I can make changes. So that was really where I was like, it's time for help.
Do you feel like what was the biggest help in that? Like informational, accountability, all of the above? Like what do you feel like you got the most value out of coaching?
I think mostly information. I honestly didn't want to be a bug, but at the same time,
never a bug. You guys can, that's what you're paying for. Paying to be able to bug me.
But I think, I am expecting my second and I had like a first trimester exhaustion and that kind of was during our coaching. And so I think I might have needed maybe a little bit more accountability on myself. Like you were giving it, but I needed to put it more on myself. So I am currently rewatching a few videos and stuff from that first trimester that I'm like, we haven't jumped on that, but like, let's do it.
But it's kind of nice to know there's always something that can still be done. It's not like you've tapped out on everything and then there's no more room for growth. So, and then with that being said, self-accountability, that's the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is like you are the boss. And if you don't have a team yet, like there really isn't anyone to be holding you accountable. So you can slip up and say, no, I'm just not going to do this today. I'll do that tomorrow. All right, let's push it to Monday. Okay, next month, the first of the month. Like I'm trying really hard for myself too, not to be a Monday person, a first of the month person, or a first of the year person. So I think discipline and consistency are one of the biggest keys to success, but also one of the hardest things to develop as well. I think everyone can relate to you on that. But I like to flip it to positive. Like there's still so much that can be done. So it's like you've already had growth, but like there's so much room for more growth too. All right, let's get back to the bookkeeping. Tell me your background in that.
Pandemic hit everyone 2020. How am I going to make money? What am I going to do? Like, I don't like to be bored. And so I took a bookkeeping course in 2020 and got certified as a bookkeeper and did that for about 2 years. That was my biggest thing. Like, get certified and find another way for income. I've always liked numbers. And so it was an easy, like, transition.
Do you feel like that knowledge has helped you in your business as well?
Definitely.
I feel like it would majorly, like that's where I freaking hate finances. I hate it with a passion. That was one of my first hires, was a bookkeeper, because I was like, I cannot be trusted with this. How many clients did you have for bookkeeping?
I started with one.
Okay.
And then I got the second client probably 2024, beginning of 2024.
Okay, cool. So what do you think is the biggest struggle for those in our industry?
In our industry,
When it comes to bookkeeping and finances.
so when it comes to bookkeeping, I think that the biggest issue in our industry is that you're mixing your finances, and we are all guilty of it from time to time. But the biggest thing is how to like sort that out. How do you stop doing that and make sure that everything is staying in one account, or at least being accounted for? Because if you swipe your personal card and then you need to swipe your business card and you just forget about things, or use cash, and it gets really confusing.
Yeah, totally. All right, guys, we're still in Q1. So I know it's the end of February, but you guys still have time to correct this, to course correct this. So I know most people, I feel like it's so overwhelming and they get so anxious about it that they just ignore it. So for those, what is your first like step or piece of advice for them? What's step number one for them?
Step number one is finding like a system that works for you. I personally think QuickBooks is super easy. It does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and that makes it like the best option right now. And that should be your step one, like making a QuickBooks connect your bank account.
Yes. And if you guys need help with exactly how to do that, she actually has a free resource for you guys. So click here and you guys can download that. She literally walks you through, like this is one of the things that we were working on during our coaching. I'm like, people need this so bad. Like create a resource, something like we need help, like me included now. Thank God I have a team. Oh my God, I would just be royally screwing this up. But definitely get signed up, walk through that. Step one, get QuickBooks. But let's back up from there too. Some might not even have a business account yet.
Yeah.
So we need to start there.
Yes.
We need to start with a business account. You guys need to separate it. You got to be okay, but let me ask you this. Okay. So say someone's business account has $10 in it. They got to buy something for 20. What do you do? Like, do you transfer from your personal into your business and then make that purchase?
So two ways. You can do that, and that would be considered like owner contribution.
Okay.
And then you would turn around and make that deduction, like make that payment, and then that's an expense.
Okay.
So you have the money coming in from personal, but you account for it, and then you turn around and you make the expense. Second way of doing it would be the personal. If that's kind of what you're used to, like breaking that habit's hard, but you swipe that personal card and then you go ahead and put that expense in. And then once you're cleaned up and start like having more money in your business bank account, like we get away from using our personal as much as possible. And even making, in the beginning, I was using personal money, but making those transfers too and like making constant contributions is better than mixing the transactions, because it'll get lost. So.
Well, and I feel like then that takes manual effort too. If you use your personal, then you have to go manually plug it into QuickBooks. And it's like, I feel like a lot of us aren't disciplined enough to do that. This is why with all my coaching clients, you're the easiest on this one. Like I always tell them, you need an admin day. And a lot of times the admin day consists of marketing and advertising too, but a lot of it's finances and balancing your books and like doing all of that. So you were the easiest. She was the easiest when it came to that. Usually I have to spend a lot of time in finances, even though I'm not an expert. I've definitely learned a lot, but I love that with you. We got to get into like more of what I think is the fun stuff of marketing and advertising and all of that stuff. But okay, so you guys are gonna go get your business bank account and then be disciplined in making sure you use business for business and personal for personal. Okay, so let's go over real quick. What are some of the things that people okay, I'm gonna ask you two questions. What are people writing off that is not actually a write-off? And then second question is there anything that you see is commonly missed as a write-off that they could be writing off? One thing that comes to my mind is like hair, nails, like things like that. Boob job. I'm just kidding.
But like, you almost could write those things off. Like, you, for example, like you have a show. If you went and got your hair done this morning, like it's for the podcast.
Yeah.
It is an expense for the show.
You heard
So
it here.
there
You heard it
are
here.
moments where you can justify a hair appointment. Then there's when you go on vacation and you get your hair done. That is a personal transaction, and you shouldn't pay for that in your business. Make that a point to like pay yourself some money that you save up for that instead of the hair. So it really is case by case. Not writing things off can be hard, but check with your like CPA. I mean,
because this can vary state by state too,
exactly.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to check with the CPA. I highly recommend, like, once you have QuickBooks down, you get your reports and you send that to a CPA to do your taxes. I don't do my own taxes. We have other things like personal with my husband and house, so it's just way too complicated.
Yeah.
But once I have the business finances together, then I can hand that one thing off.
Yep.
And feel much better and confident, like no one's gonna come get me.
Yeah, no, totally. The weight, though, I know a lot of you probably are thinking about this and having this like weighing on your shoulders probably on a daily basis. I know that was me when I first started. So I went solo in 2017 and I did not do any of this for like, I kind of tried using like random apps that were like not, it was kind of dumb. Like I tried, but we had to go backwards, and like I had to hire someone to like clean it up, which do it. Like if you're at that point, you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. But the weight that was lifted and still is, like now we have a CFO, which is crazy to me. But like for him to handle the CPA and the bookkeeper and everything just reports to me, and I'm like, yep, that sounds good. Do that. Like it's such a game changer, you guys. This is the starting point though. I didn't start with being able to hire a CFO. That was within the past year that we were able to do that. But I started by, okay, I need to do the thing that I've been avoiding, but my business needs. You guys need to be a steward of your business. You have to have the hat of I'm the business owner, but then also I'm an employee of my business. And you got to stop treating your business as a hobby, or you're going to be paid as a hobby. So if you guys want to be making good money, have financial and time freedom, which is what we all really usually shoot for when we first go solo, finances is part of it, and you got to just take action on that. So tell us a little bit about your free resource for them. Like, what does that entail? What will they get out of that?
Yeah, so with the free resource, it's pretty much the first 3 lessons of my overall QuickBooks course. It teaches you which plan to go with, how to set that up, and a chart of accounts, fancy word, but it's just how to organize all of your expenses and all of your income when it comes in through QuickBooks.
Cool.
And then it's a way that you'll be more in control of your money. Like those few steps, linking your bank account, is going to make it so much easier than like going through everything or trying to find it. So
yep. So when you do that, you got, well, first of all, she showed literally a screen recording, like push this button. It's like paint by numbers. It's so nice. And then chart of accounts would be categories that you place your expenses, right?
Exactly.
So if you buy gloves, that would be categorized as supplies, I would assume, right? Now I'm like, wait, am I saying the right thing? But so it's just different categories of where expenses go. But linking your bank account, then it just all and then using the right freaking card, which is where I was guilty for the longest time. Now I am so like that I will not. There's nope. I won't allow myself. But then it all is in there, and then you get to play this fun little game of pushing them around to the Okay, so actually that brings up a good question. How many hours a week do you think it would take for someone, once they get all this linked up, they're disciplined on which card they're using, how many hours do they have to spend like balancing their books, would you say?
Once you've got it down, like this is going to be 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many transactions you have. But if you're doing this monthly, 30 minutes to an hour, and you can have your QuickBooks figured out.
You guys, it is huge. And then you know your numbers. First of all, like so many coaching clients I get started with, I'm like, okay, what's your revenue? What's your profits? And they don't know. You guys got to know. Again, like I said earlier, stop treating your business as a hobby, or you're going to be paid out hobby money, and you're going to have to continue that side job, which is fine. But if that's not your goal, and your goal is to go fully solo, you got to nail this stuff down. So, and with your free resources, it's super easy to get started. And then tell us a little bit about your paid course as well, because I know that really dives in.
So in the paid course, like you move beyond the setup, and then you're going to know how to use that chart of accounts and categorize every single transaction that comes through. QuickBooks looks just like a statement that you get for your bank, like, or when you go in the app, because I'm sure no one gets their printed statements anymore, but it shows you like your debits and credits, and what that is basically saying is, did you go to McDonald's, or did you like buy wax? And when you put those things in, if you bought wax, that is going to be categorized as a supply. And then you can go a little deeper, say it's a back bar supply, because you're not selling wax, you're using it as your services.
I just learned this.
Yes.
Cost of goods sold.
Exactly. And so it's and you'll see that a lot. It's on the chart of accounts, and that is different. It's going to offset like income in an expense report, versus if you purchase furniture, like that's a fixed asset. When you buy a spa bed, like you're going to have that for years. So it becomes a fixed asset in your business. And that's just, again, another category.
Okay, in layman's terms, what is a fixed asset?
You got a chair, table, you have your wax pot.
But that means it's like value towards your, like if your business was evaluated for like what it's worth, like those things would count towards it.
Yes.
Then. Okay.
They're long-term assets, and they'll show up as assets.
Cool. I like that. Okay, so what is the biggest benefit from having all your books cleaned up and organized? Like taxes, of course, it makes taxes much easier. But is there anything beyond that where you'd say it just makes life easier and can be a benefit?
I think you're less stressed when you know like how much money you're making on a regular. Then you can start, how you said, pay yourself. If you don't know whether you're gonna make like $2,000 this month and how much you're going to spend, then you don't know if you can pay yourself $100. So how is that going to work? You also can track and see like January, is that a slow month versus June?
Yes. And
you can easily decide like when you should be buying more supplies or less, and how to handle business.
I was kind of thinking like loans too, if you ever needed a business loan.
Yes. Also, if you want to buy a house, I'm in some of these groups and people are like, hey, I'm going to try to buy me a house soon. And I'm so used to making myself look negative. Like you want to know how to prepare for that. It is unfortunately like a bigger plan. When we went and bought, like I had to think about, okay, what can I do to make me look like, know that I'm earning more? Yeah. But maybe a few more expenses can't be written off.
Yep, totally. Yeah, that was huge for us too. Is I think they asked for 2, but maybe even 3 years of like pay stubs and like our income. So that was really big for us too. It's like, it felt so good once we bought our house with like our actual like income, like and our pay, now we're on payroll too. So once you guys grow to and are hitting a certain profit amount per year, then you guys would consider putting yourself on payroll as well. So that's like a more of a tax strategy that I'm not going to get super into, but just know like you're building, this has so much more future growth potential for you, but you got to get started with these basics first. Okay, I love this. This is very exciting for me because it's such, I know you guys struggle with it. I struggled with it. Like I don't think any of us got into this business wanting to be, well, first of all, people complain about content creation, that they're like, I didn't get into this to be a content creator. You kind of did though. If you're a entrepreneur, part of that's marketing and advertising, and that's just what it looks like these days. So you kind of did sign yourself up for it, and you did sign yourself up for handling finances. But I'm really big in, also, there's a time to ask who, not how. And right now, she's sharing the how. You got to get started, and that will allow you to work your way into asking who, and you can hire a bookkeeper. You can hire a CPA. Maybe eventually you grow big enough where you have a CFO too. But this has been awesome. I know your resources are going to be super valuable. You guys, it's also right off her paid course, right?
Yeah. It's education. There is a category.
Is that the category?
Yeah.
Education? There you go. No excuses. So use your business card. Get that set up if you don't have the bank account yet. Go ahead and download her free resource first. pay for the course. You need it. So this is you being a big girl now and taking ownership of your business. Go ahead and pay for that. Thank you again for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing all the value. Where can people find you?
So you can find me on all platforms at WaxxKat. It's WaxxKat. And then you can find the link there as well. But you also can find it at stan.store/WaxxKat.
Perfect. And then if you guys didn't click on the link earlier, I'll also put in the description for you guys. All right, you want to hear from another one of my coaching clients, go ahead and head to this video. And if you want to hear some advice from our CFO, Ryan, who I mentioned earlier, click here. If you're listening on Spotify, you'll head to episode 89 or 42 to hear from our CFO. All right, I'll see you guys over there.